Hi, welcome back to a new tutorial part. Today we want to make that little light here, interior for a room or such, and then we will see what happens. Good. So we make it in flat form, then we bend it around a circle, and at least with proportional we get the surrounding there. So we start at mesh plane, rotate x 90 degrees, and get them here. Should be much longer. Scale in the hole and scale x, because it must be completely rounded, so it's more than the double. Such like that here. And that are 3, 6, I think 12 all in all. So we need here 12 cuts, so we go with tab key in the edit mode, then Control R to make loops, and we make here 12. You see the count here, number of cuts 4, and when you roll the middle mouse button you can make more. We need 12. Good. The trick now is each one of them needs this this distance between one hole and the other hole. We first count that rows here. That are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Control R make their horizontal 6 loops. 5, 6. Okay. We have that. All in all, that looks a little bit too small for that, so we scaled it up all in all. I think such like that. Good. But we see that all later, that is not a problem. So now we must try to get here holes in. That is not that easy that you thought, because when you make here that X, delete only faces, then you have that here. And when you then take a modifier on subdivision surface, you see he rounds up that not correctly like we would, and that is because it is directly near to the other, and you need here a loop between, then he makes it completely round. So we go here back, Control Z, then I can jump back. Good. So that means we must have here we can, so we make it with loops, as I said before. So that means Control R and make a loop on each side. That means 1. Can deactivate that. So we go back to move. So Control R, go here, and I will make until the end. Each row his own loop. Then we try it again, and you will see then he rounds it up completely correct. For sure there are 1,000 ways to do such, but that is my way to do such. So we try it again with here the faces and X delete only faces. See, here it works, here it doesn't work because there is no line over it. So Control C, go back, we take here the top line, then extrude them up. That should be later that rand there, and here must be some of that too, so we go down there and extrude that also. Good. Now we delete the faces. At least. So we make it that way. And then we see what we get. Well, we see one row here must be cut it off, because when it ends here, the next field must be that here, not that. So that must be killed later. But that is no problem. I hope so. Each project is new, and each project has its own level, and in the most parts you don't imagine what real happens when you try that. So X, delete only faces, that are now the holes. With the subdivision surface we can handle how round that should be. That is that. As I told you, we must cut off that here, so we go to face vertex and then C, circle selection, select that here, X, delete verts. So we have now the base structure for that. That is fine. Let's look, can we close that shit here? End panel, yeah, okay. So we want to bend that around. That means we need here something to bend, and when you want bend you need a curve. So add curve circle. That circle should be that large as the part there. Then we want to bend that around there, so we bring it there. Then we take there a modifier on that. That is the curve modifier. The form object is our circle, and you see now he bends that around. You see it isn't closed in the moment. For sure that is a little bit too small for that, and the ring is too fat for that. That is the option. You can scale the object as to scale, and then you can move them together. Here you see he rounds it up because we have the subdivision surface there, so we must make that sharp, and that means we take that completely line, and then we need there a mean grease, it's called. With them you can chop it up. Edge grease, yeah, we try that. Hope he does that now. There's the crease 1. Yeah, that's correct. We make it there too. Edge, mean grease, and move the mouse to 1. In the top corner there are this counter, and then it works. Good. Back on track. The top part needs that too, and the down part. So we take here the top part, and here in this edge comes this counter. So edge, mean grease, and there you push the mouse left, then that will appear in red, and that means mean grease is on 1. So again, and we have that. Okay, now you see it is sharpened up here correctly, and now we can put it together. We don't close it completely because we must close it manually then. So scale, with hold and shift you can make it slower, that you're near to it. Okay, that's enough. First apply the subdivision surface and then the curve modifier, and now it's correct. Good. Every time there's a test, simply test it, then you know it. Push one on the first stage, the other on the second, and such on. So we must close it here correctly. That means we can bridge them both. You select both edges, and then you can take here the bridge edge loops. Now he closed that. We take here one line again and X, dissolve edges, and the same we do with that middle one. And then it is a closed mesh and all is fine. Good. You see here that stripes that we don't want, so we push that away. Here we simply take shade smooth, so it is here, and then you see that's gone. Now we have to change here the size. Good. A little bit too much here on each side, but who cares about that? Good. Now we want to make that down and around, so that means we take your proportional editing on, edit mode, select the down row, scale, but with proportional, and then you can roll the middle mouse button to say how big should be the influence of that what you do there. And you see we can get this one, and then all in all scale it in the Z. So we have that one, then only the circle down there again. It is a little bit much, so we go there back, and then we have that. Play a little with that values, and you will find the right way to do it. So I think that works good. Is not completely round. You can scale that again to make it so, but for me that's okay. So I closed it here with F. So we have that. Then it needs a thickness there. So that means we take the whole object and take the modifier, the solidify. You see what happens. He makes that thick there. You can control it here. We make it not that thick, but a little. Then you see what he makes here. That is because the thickness has no loops to sharpen up that here correctly, and because of that, we take the add split 2. and then you see he corrects that and all is fine. So we have now the base structure. You see into that thing there are a class, something into it, and that means we need this whole thing as a class but without the holes in there. So to get that, we take here one of these lines, Shift D, make a copy of that, and disable the proportional editing. Then we make it the other way. It is too complicated for me. Okay. We take here simply a circle and bring it there. Disable proportional. Scale down. Hold Shift, you have that control. So we looked at it, fits into top view number 7, then bring it in the middle. Good, that's nearly what we need. Good. Then we extrude that. So first I bring it in front, let us see what I do there. And then extrude, bring it down, scale down, like that. Then we need here the banding, so Control R, make there a loop in, and scale that oversize. Then we can Control B, bevel them, and then you got this round stuff when you roll the middle mouse button. So that is what it is. We scale it a little down. You see it fits not completely perfect, but you can handle it by scaling that in proportional. There you can include what you do, as I told you before. There you can make that it fits completely good if you want that. So we have done that. That's okay. That should be the class that comes into. So here we close the down part with F. Then this needs a thickness 2, but before we must apply the rotation scale of the object. You see the origin is at the other point, so that means the origin should be to the geometry, and now it's in the middle. That's correctly. We now put it into the other one, bring it down, and then maybe we scale it a little, but I see it looks not bad. A little maybe. Good, we scale it a little. Good. Then we take here a shade smooth, also object shade smooth, and we give them a solidify 2. So object apply rotation scale and modifier solidify. Good. We make that here a little bit thicker, like that. Okay. Then we make a secure copy, Shift D, bring it down there, and this one we apply the modifier Now we have here 3D objects like it should, and that should be glass, but not a normal glass, a glass with some rough texture there, and that we make now. So we come to the shading called. There we make the materials. When you want to have it here more round or stuff, you can add there loops to bevel and such more, but it's okay. So we go to shading. You see it changes to that screen here, and here we make our material for the class. So we add shader. We need a class shader. Before we go here to material and make a new material. So that is the start. Then I delete the principal shader. Then I add there the shader. It should be a class shader. I have it here. We bring them to surface. And you see we have our class. The problem with that is it has self-reflection and self-shading that are both problems for us. So we need a light path to filter that out. So we add, I must look where this light path is. I search them every time. Light path, light path, light path. Stink input. Look. Yeah, light path. There is it. There you can say he should filter out the shadows and the reflections on glass. To handle that we need there a mixer. So add shader, a mix shader. At the opposite of that we need then a transparent shader. Add shader transparent there, and take that as the second option. So now we put in there the shadow ray, so the class shadows not itself, and we make that all again for the reflection. Shift D, plug there, Shift D, copy the transparent, get them therein, and we take here the reflection ray and put them as a factor in. So we have that. We should look here, that is EV. EV don't shades correctly class, so that only can be done with cycles. So we go back to cycles, because cycles is a real light renderer, and we need real light calculation here. So I go here to GPU as renderer. That makes it much faster and better. Then it should be denoised. That makes it look like we have 5,000 samples or such. The maximum render type for me is 128. I have it here, samples. Denoise should be there. Good. When we now look here, we have no correct light here, so we look where we have our lights. If we have some, they must be here in the outliner, and we see we don't have one. So we add one. That means we go back to modeling, and then we add a lamp, a light. That should be a sun. put them a little bit up. We have here the light. Here's the sun. The strength should be 7. That is like it is in natural. Good. We have that. Then class needs a background that can reflect into. And that means we need here background. So we go to world settings. There you can see the background. Go to this panel here on the point. There you can say it should be an environment texture, it's called. Then you can download from textureshaven.com. There you can get HDRI files for this environment texture. So I have done that. I open that. There are some for free and some you must pay. There you can look what you got. HDRI here. And I take one of them. Blue and gray. That looks good. So when we now go here to preview render, takes a little, then you see that you can look through it and it's real class shaded. That is correctly good done. But it is too small all in all. That means it must be rougher there. That means we need shading plus. So that means we make here we make it with blur, with a noise. So we take here the texture, and there's the noise texture, and that we take as a bump effect. That we can connect them to the normal. So add bump here, vector bump. You see the output is normal, the input is normal, so we connect the bump with the glass shader, and the height of the glass should be influenced by the noise texture. So we plug that factor into the height, gray and gray, so that works. And when we now look at it, it gets bubble style stuff there. See it here, and that is the effect that we want. There's a little bit much effect there, so we get this range a little bit down. Take 0.4, that in the most parts okay. Then you can handle the scale here, make it more or less with this bubble stuff there. I think something like that should be fine. Good. So we have done that too. We go back to modeling and block that here into the other ones there. So this you see it here that has this bubble shit there too. So here we need a material too. It is a black metal or such. So we give them here material, new material, go to shading. Then we give them a dark color, like black. Then we give them here metallic. And then the roughness should be down, so it is more glossy. and you see we have there that nice look. Maybe a little bit more roughness, that it's not too shiny, such like that. That is wonderful. Good. So we done that all. File save. Now we need the light itself, the candlelight there, and that means modeling again. So we make here a cylinder, add mesh cylinder, get it over them, scale down. That is this little light, the candle itself. That should be scaled in the Z. There's only flat little thing there, that one. Then that is metal, aluminium. So we take here the face selection and extrude scale, so we can make here thickness, and then we extrude and bring it down till the Z axis without proportional for sure. So we have it there. That needs a shade smooth. You see here the stair effect. Then you see we have here shading arrows darker there than on the top. That means you need here a loop down under, then it disappear. Good. We have that, but we need this little shine effect. So we need here a bevel. When the sunlight comes there, it can be shine a little. That makes it more realistic. So Control B, move the mouse button, the mouse, and then you can get there. This loops in. Same we do with the down part. Control B, move, but not over the loop. Then you destroy the shading again. Good. That should be silver metal. So we must go to materials, say new material. We can call it metal, silver. Good. We go to shading. Done. That is our principal shader there. That should be metallic, and it has a roughness, and we only control how strong that should look like. Also you can play with the specular, that makes it more or less realistic, and when you want to make it absolute correctly, you get a list with IORs, index of refractions, and there you can get the correctly value for this material, like aluminium. But who cares? For me that's okay. So, and at the inner part we need the candle itself. So we take here this face, Shift D, make a copy, grab it out. We want to separate that now because it's another material. So I must look where it is. Separate. It is called faces. Separate. Where are you? Oh, every time I search that, I hate this shit. Separate. Inward. Select. Separate. There is it. Separate selection. Now that is a singular mesh in object mode, and that too, and that's what I want. So that here must only be scaled a little bit. When we go back to modeling, you will see that the origin is at the wrong point. So object set origin to geometry. Now that is correct, and it must have a thickness 2. So we extrude and put it up here. That should be that wax, candle wax. So at first we extrude scale a little and bring that down. That should be that burned outside thing there, you know what I mean. Then we control R, we make there a loop in. Bring that a little down. With control B we can now bevel that, and then we get that round hole effect, we call it. You know what I mean. So good. This needs a bevel here too on the edges. So control B, bevel that, and down under should have the same, and control R, don't forget to look for the shading. Good. This needs a material, so shading. Then we go here to material tab. We call it not material silver. This is because we separate that from the other material, so we call that candle. Ooh, now we must make a new one. So we changed that. Yeah, now it is called candle. Good. And then it alu. I call it alu. And that one we delete here the material and make then a new material, and that we call wax or candle or such. It's evil. That is white, simple white with a little bit transmission. Transmission means that when light comes, it can go through the object, and that should be a little bit there, but not too much. That we will see then later. Good, we have that one. It should have be this middle part. So we simply take there this middle part here, scale down, and extrude in the Z. Oh, we must go to modeling. Sorry for that. So there we have this lighter thing, or what do you call that? Make it a little bit smaller. Maybe like that. So a little bit longer maybe. No, there comes the flame on the top, so that's okay. But this thing should have a other material. Face selection, select that one, control plus, then you can select that. We give them a new material and call it Dort. We call it in Germany. Make them black and assign. So that's that. We put that one into the other, and here is the same. When you want to make it absolutely correct, you get the IOR value and plug them in, and then you have a wonderful candlelight. So, but we are fine with that, and bring that down into. Look, all is okay. Grab Z to look that we then not down under or such. Not too deep, not too high. A little bit more down. So that's okay. The half of them you don't see any time, but that is plannering. We care about the details. So that is fine. File, save. Good. We need a light in there. So for sure when it is in the room later and it should shine through the room, then you get a point light into it. For this moment we only want to fake the light, or better say, we don't make a light in that moment. When you want to do it, simply take their picture of an alpha flame, and then you can put it in. I can show you that first. Add image reference, and then that you can download on texture sites. Must search a little and then you will find that. Where is it? Moment. I need fire, and there is the flame. You can take them there, then you can scale them to the right size that you need. Scale in the Z, maybe such like that. Then you can put them onto the lamp, and then you have a burning candlelight. Grab Z, bring it down, then put a point light into it, and then you can let it be shining what it should be. Good. We made it one time. So add light, point light that we put to the flame. So I hide that here in a moment, so make it with this eye. When I disable that, then it isn't seeable, so I can see better what I do there. So that here must come up a little bit more, a little bit to the side. Good. That is the point light, should be somewhere in the middle of it, such like that. Good. So yeah, that is good. You also can say here from the flame, when you go in the shading, there's the image. That's okay. Where we are, there. Okay, we have the light there. It is 10 in the moment. It must be much higher when you want to see that later in the render. So, but we go back to that point. We activate again the other stuff there. So that's fine. File, save. We go with delete on the numpad. We can jump to the object, and with the 0 on the numpad we get the camera mode for rendering. Click here this little box and you can grab the camera away, put it there, and file save. With F12 we can now render, and we do, and then we see what we got. It takes a little time. And as I say before, the light must be much stronger